Hi folks, Martin here. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create your own print and play card template. The template that I'm going to show you how to make today is going to require an image editing app like you see on my screen behind me. And it's going to be a 9-card grid in US letter. This is a very common layout that you find in many print and play files. It's one of the most basic. So 9-card grid in US letter template. That's what we're going to learn how to make very quickly today. Just kind of a quick and dirty demo for you. Let me go ahead and put myself in the lower right here. It's going to look kind of like what you see here on your screen. So what you see here on your screen right now is a US letter size image file. So it's basically what you see here on the screen is the size of standard printer paper. And it's going to have a grid that you can insert your 9 cards into, and then you'll be able to print that out or save it to PDF so that you can distribute it to other people, right? So this is what we're going to look like, what it's going to look like today. But where we want to start is not yet on the page itself. We want to create a new file. So any image editor, I'm using Pixelmator on a Mac. You could use Photoshop. You could use GIMP. There's many different image editors out there. Pick one that works best for you and works best for your budget, and that you've looked for the tutorials, you've studied the tutorials on how to use its basic functions. So this video is not going to teach you how to use an image editor. I'm going to assume that you already have one in mind, but now that you have an image editor and the knowledge of how to use it, you can apply some of the techniques I'm showing you today. All right, super quick. We'll go to the file menu, we'll go make a new image, and we want the size of the image to be the size of a standard poker card. So we're working with a poker size card, which is 2.5 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall. So that is what we have created over here. So basically the image that you see on your screen is the size and dimensions of a poker size card. Oh, and you know what, let me repeat that, because I also want to show you that I want to be working with in 300 pixels per inch. Okay, forgot to mention that. I always work in 300 pixels per inch. Just in all of my images, just to keep things consistent. All right, so we've created this card, and now what we want to do is we want to create corner crosshair cutting guides. We want to put a cutting guide at each corner of the card. Now, you could find a cross, like some clip art or whatever, but I like to create my own. So the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to get a line shape, and I'm going to make this 3 pixels wide, and I'm just going to go ahead and make a line. All right, it's a line and it's 100 pixels long, and I've set it so that it's not a solid line, but it is rather a dashed line like this, and I'll explain why in just a second. So now I've got the horizontal piece. I think it's a little bit too big, so I'm actually going to make this shorter. Let's see, let's try 50 pixels long. How does that look? Looks a little better. All right, now that I've got the horizontal piece, I'm going to go ahead to my layers menu here on the left, and I'm going to duplicate that and separate it a little bit. So now I've got another horizontal piece, a duplicate, and I'm going to make it go vertical, 50 inches tall. I'm sorry, not 50 inches, 50 pixels. All right, and then I'm going to select that, and I'm going to place it right in the center of the horizontal piece that I made. So now if you take a look at this, it is a corner crosshair, and it is, let me deselect it. There you go. So that's what it looks like. Okay, and it is, I think I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually merge these 2 layers, and I'm going to call it crosshair. Great, so now I've got 1 crosshair. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate it 3 more times. one for each of the corners of the card. So duplicate that. And then I'll duplicate both of these. Great. So now I've got 4 corner crosshairs, one for each corner of the card. Next thing I'm going to do, and you can see this coming, is I'm going to select each one of these, and I'm going to place them in the card corner, like so. All right. Oops, I didn't want to move the background. Oops. It's going to be a little tricky. There you go. That one's in the corner. I apologize for doggy noises in the background. I have a number of doggies here in the room with me as I am recording this video. All right, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm taking the corner crosshairs that I made, oops, and I am moving them to the corners of my card image here. Great. So now I've got a card image with 4 crosshairs. Now that we've got this, we can go ahead and save this. What do we call this? We're going to call this card with corner crosshairs. All right. Now that we've got that, let's try to put it on a US letter page. So we're going to create a new file. And this time we're going to make it the dimensions of a US letter page, which is 8.5 inches width by 11 inches height, and as always, resolution that I work in is 300 pixels per inch, and I'm going to create that. Great. So that is a US letter page. When this prints out, or when I save it to PDF, it's going to be the dimensions of a US letter page, 8.5 by 11. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the card that we had made. I'm going to select those corner crosshairs. Yeah. And I'm going to add them to my US letter page file, image file. And so now we've got basically a card outline in the center of the page, which is great. Okay. What's the next thing that I want to do? I want to actually go ahead and duplicate these. Actually, let me go ahead and merge these, because I know that I don't want to change this anymore. This is going to be a single card. Single card with corner crosshairs. Great. And then I'm going to duplicate this to put, let me go ahead and line up those crosses. All right, they're lined up. And then I'm going to duplicate this and so now we've got a row of corner crosshairs, basically a row of slots where you're going to put cards in the center of the page. So now we've got one row in the middle of the page. Now we want to put a row above and a row below, and then we would have completed our 9-card grid. So let's go ahead and duplicate all of these and then move them upward. I'm using my cursor keys to move things around now, by the way. Sometimes it gives me more control, especially when I'm working with something like this that isn't really a full image. Great. And then I'm going to select the middle row, duplicate once again, and move downward. Looks like I landed exactly where I wanted them to be. Great. So now we have a grid of 9 cards. Very hard to see. I mean, no, we don't have a grid of 9 cards. We have a grid of slots for cards is what we have. And then what we'll do, because we're working in the image editor, is you can create non-printing guides. Basically, you can go to the rulers here and you can grab guides. And I'm going to make sure that that guide goes and lines up right with the center, or rather the vertical axis of the corner crosshairs. Let me pull them all out first and then align them later. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, and one more. So now all of our verticals are aligned. Now let's do the same for our horizontals. Horizontal guides. And I'm grabbing them, I'm going up to the ruler and I'm clicking into the ruler and I'm grabbing my guides from there. That's how I'm used to working in an image editor. All right. Now, these guides, they're not going to print. They're just here for ease of alignment. This is going to make it easier for us to actually bring in our cards later on. Okay, so now we have a 9-card grid with corner crosshairs, right? I could have made these outlines, but I don't like outlines. I prefer corner crosshairs because if I actually print this out with cards in them, the crosshairs are going to be easier. They're going to basically vanish when I round the card corners, is just why I like that. A full card outline, if you print that out, then, and if there's any kind of misalignment, then the outline is obvious on your cards, and it just makes it look not as nice. So crosshairs are easier to use as a guide while cutting, which is what it's for, and then easier to make vanish once you've actually cut the cards. So that's why I prefer corner crosshairs. Okay, let's see here. Let's actually bring in some cards. Okay, we're going to go, I have here on my desktop cards that I recently created for my Watchmen retheme of Fantasy Realms. And so I'm going to go ahead and select 9 cards here. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm going to bring them in, and they each insert as a layer, as a separate layer. So now what I can do is I can select each one and I can place them where they belong inside of each space for it, inside of the grid that I had created. Now obviously if these image files were not the right size, then I could be resizing them now. There you go. And so now you've got the cards inside of a 9-card grid, right? And you've got corner crosshair cutting guides to know exactly where to cut. I'm showing you the corner crosshairs now. And so basically that's it. I could now go and print this out. I could go to File, Print right from here, and I could print out my 9-card grid. I could save it to PDF on my desktop. And let's call this demo. Okay, and then let me actually find that card on my desktop. And that's what our work looks like. So once you've created the template, then it's easy for you to bring in individual card images and put them where they belong in the template. And then when this prints out, you'll be able to follow the corner crosshairs to be able to to be able to cut these cards down into card size, and then you could produce them however you want. You could insert them into a sleeve with an old playing card or magic card as backing. You could laminate and cut them out, or you could produce the cards some other way. So let me go ahead and go into full screen here. I hope that this quick demonstration has given you an idea of how to make your own print and play card templates. And if you have any questions whatsoever, you can ask me in my Facebook group, the Print and Play Hideaway. Just search the Facebook for Print and Play Hideaway. You could also send me geek mail on BoardGameGeek. My handle is Dr. Henry Armitage. That's Dr. Henry Armitage on BoardGameGeek. Until next time, this has been Martin. I hope that this video has been thankful to you. I hope that this video has been useful to you. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.